Welcome to Reddit Reads r/ProRevenge. Our first Reddit post is from Deleted. Stealing my notes, guess who won't graduate high school? So this happened in 2018 when I graduated high school. I first posted in on nuclear revenge, though I think it's not that drastic, so I thought here was more fitting. A quick overview of the Swiss school system. Normally, you go to school until 9th grade. If you want to go to university later, you change to grammar high school from 8th to 12th grade. I decided to study and went to high school. Also, in Switzerland, my state canton, at least, everything under 75 is a fail. We have a really strict thing going on there. There I quickly became friends with Chelsea, my now girlfriend, and Alicia. Alicia is the kind of person that is funny if you don't have her around too much. She is always the victim, she can only talk about herself, etc. But if you spend too much time with her, you are a mess. She is also never responsible for things happening to her because she grew up in the foster care system, whatever. So this happened about 2 months before our finals. Now, graduating means passing the finals, obviously. But not only them. The finals are half of your eventual grade. The other half is your last report card. If I had an A in my final English exam but a C in my last report card, my eventual grade would be a B, and so on. Alicia really struggled with that because her last report card wasn't that good. She had to excel in most of the subjects to graduate. So you would think she'd write as many notes as possible and study pretty early, right? Nope. She procrastinated until 2 months before our finals while I and Chelsea studied our butts off. Now, I always was the girl who offered her notes in our class group chat in case someone was interested. This gets important later. We had a fairly long list of things we had to be able to use in maths, and I wrote notes for every single topic and kept it in a folder in my locker. Only put some of them on the group chat. One day, I went to my locker and they weren't there. I was freaking out. I spent weeks on writing them. I looked for them for an entire week and had approximately 3 panic attacks because I thought I wouldn't pass now and had to do all of it again. That's when Alicia casually told me that she took them the other day when I asked her to get a book from my locker. She actually hadn't planned to tell me at all because it's not like you'd need them anyway. If you didn't make copies, it's not my fault. The blatant entitlement was enough for me to come up with a plan. A vicious plan. Not only had she stolen my notes, if I hadn't bothered her so much with it, she wouldn't have even told me she had taken them. She was only a high school friend anyway, and I knew I'd never do anything with her again once we graduated, so frankly, I didn't give a single crap about what would happen to her. Her entitled, self-centered way was enough for me to finally burst. I apologized for making drama. It's okay. You just are like that sometimes. I was about to lose it and just continued my school day. Now, Alicia kept calling me about notes, etc., even before that, especially my notes for various books. She'd chosen the same books, so she didn't have to study extra. I started to give her a wrong analysis and started to fake notes. Obvious enough, if she'd read the books, she'd know it's bullshit. I did the same with our English books. And French. She already had my maths notes too. I couldn't fake those, but I could fake German, French, English, chemistry, physics, and psychology. Now, after I invested so much time in faking notes, I watched it all go down a day before graduation. We went into a pub with our teacher to watch a football game I don't even remember, and she distributed our results. I passed with a 5.38 in Switzerland. The grades are from 16, 6 is best, so about. Anna and Alicia went pale. 3.21D. She had failed all of her classes but maths and psychology. Oops. It seems she really just read my notes. She didn't read the books she was supposed to read. She didn't read our textbooks. I had to hide a grin. My girlfriend thinks to this day it was cruel, but seriously, it was a damper for her entitlement and narcissism. From what I've heard, she is currently trying to repeat the year and try again, hopefully without stealing her friend's notes. Edit. Thank you to everyone who explained the difference between a cup and a mug. Edit. Too many are asking me, and no, I don't regret it. To pass her finals, she had to study and read her French, German, and English books. The task was not to just read the notes and bullshit her way through them. The language finals, the books at least, were done orally. If she had read the books, she would have known my notes were not correct. So honestly her fault. This is hilarious. This comment is from Ella 3114. This comment is from Greifing. She procrastinated until 2 months before our finals. This ain't much procrastinating where I'm from op, I think your plot was dastardly, but the girl was a dick. This comment is from Jolly Rancher Remender. Definitely pro, a lot of work and self-control involved here. I give your story in Now, a word from today's sponsor. Surfshark is an all-around VPN solution that can do everything from torrenting as well as streaming to browsing the dark web. Surfshark is one of the very best all-round VPN, terrific for Netflix, torrenting, confidential browsing, as well as staying safe on public Wi-Fi. Check out Surfshark today, link is in the description. Now back to the video. Our next Reddit post is from Desig Goddess. Neighbor tried to exploit HOA loophole. Another neighbor was more clever. Not my story, and not sure it's pro, but makes me smile. I shared this on another sub, and thought someone might appreciate it here. In an old neighborhood with narrow streets, the HOA didn't allow parking on the street overnight. A neighbor put his boat on a trailer out there, and then took off the wheels. Somewhere in the bylaws, the word parked was defined as something with wheels. He found it and decided to test it, and couldn't understand why everyone thought he was an ass. His boat blocked half the street and was an eyesore. His wife was embarrassed and begged him to move it. He just smirked at everyone and thought he was clever. It sat there for weeks. Finally, another neighbor bought used trailer wheels off of Craigslist and put them on the trailer while the guy was at work. By the time he got home, his boat was towed. He never brought it back. I always felt bad for his wife. This comment is from Superfull. Second only to only do one illegal thing at a time is don't be a jerk. This comment is from the Computer. While this particular case sounds dodgy as hell, in general it is not some automatic proof of fakery and fraud if someone gets up from a wheelchair. Sure, they're not quadriplegic, but they may well have muscle problems, chronic pain, chronic fatigue issues, frequent severe vertigo. Being able to stand up from a wheelchair doesn't prove you don't need the wheelchair. So don't be an ass and shout at someone who stands up from their car to unload their wheelchair at a disabled parking bay. You don't know what's going on. Or someone who looks perfectly healthy but has the appropriate parking placard sticker. I know of a guy who got sick of being abused for using disabled parking when he looks fine. So he sat down and waved his prosthetic leg at the nosy person. Prosthetics, especially above the knee, can be a lot more effort to walk on, and many people face significant pain. Just because you can't see a disability doesn't prove it's not there. But crawling around measuring grass when disabled by back pain. At best your priorities are whacked out and you're a bit crazy. More likely you're a fraud. This comment is from Mediocre Chauvis. You should post this in ProRevenge. Our next Reddit post is from ProRevenge Throwaway. I'm doing my bachelor's degree abroad. Ruin my college life, I'll ruin you. I thought that it'd be a good way to meet new people, learn how to be independent, etc. For the first month, it was all good. I made a bunch of new friends. We'll call one of them S. S was the kind of girl who had to be the center of attention no matter What, but she seemed rather all right other than that. We were part of a large social circle of around 15 people. I gladly obliged. S told me that she was going to my home country for a holiday and that if I needed anything from home, she would bring stuff back for me. I paid her half of my savings to cover any expenses. My mom had arranged to send a carton of homemade food, etc. for her to eat and bring back. Instead, S ran off with my money and dumped the food. I was out of half the money I had saved and nothing to show for it. When I called S out, she declared to the rest of our friends that we'd never had an arrangement and that I was delusional. To take things a step further, she started hanging out with everyone I was friends with and began spreading rumors about me. In essence, by the end of my first year of college, I had less than 3 friends left. Every time I tried to switch social groups, S would follow my movements and alienate me from any friends I would have made. These 3 were also fellow victims of S. Something else to mention is that S wasn't the brightest academically. She plagiarized her way through exams, assignments, etc. I spent the next 3 years collecting as much evidence of this as I could. Screenshots, voice recordings, statements from the few people who were talking to me, the works. S also comes from a rather conservative family. Unfortunately for her, she had the habit of picking up guys and spending the night with them in various hotel rooms. I decided to document this as well. If you're older than the cutoff, you cannot enroll for a new undergraduate degree in certain fields. The final cherry on this multi-tiered cake is that the country where I'm doing my degree in has a rule that you have to be below a certain age to get a bachelor's. We are now in our final semester of college and S is now beyond this age. I sent my collection of evidence to everyone in the administration, every professor who had ever taught S, the dean of academics, and her parents. S was formally rusticated yesterday and her parents have disowned her. I waited for 3 long years and it was worth every second. Because of her age, she can't even get a degree in her field of interest anymore unless she leaves the country, which is now impossible for her as her parents want nothing to do with her. Edit. This got way bigger than anticipated and a few people have contacted me IRL if this was me. Fuck. This comment is from Elegant Jihad. She dumped homemade food. I mean, that's hurting herself more than you. Why even bother doing that? Just eat your delicious hatta cakes. This comment is from ProRevenge throwaway. That's what really pissed me off. She offered to herself and just threw it all away. It was my birthday later that month and my mom had made a bunch of food to help alleviate my homesickness, and I didn't even ask her to do anything for me. This comment is from Dragenitor. Now, this is some delicious pro-revenge. You did nothing but prove how she did all these wrong things, so you can have a perfectly clean conscience and rest easy knowing she got what she deserved. That was Reddit Reads r/ProRevenge. If you like this content, please subscribe and click the bell icon so you are notified of new uploads. We upload new videos every day. Also subscribe to our Patreon, as that will help us a lot. See you next time.